The plot to Back to the Future is about a teen named Marty McFly, and he lives in the year 1985. His family is poor middle class, and his dad is a nerd and is still afraid of his high school bully, Biff. He is friends with a scientist named Doc, and Doc builds a time machine out of a DeLorean. Marty accidentally travels back in time to the year 1955, the year that his parents are in high school. He gets hit by his future grandfather in a car, and his mother falls in love with him. In order to fix things right, he needs to get her and his dad together so they can get married and have kids, otherwise he will not exist at all. He ends up fixing it and changes his family as well. They are now rich middle class, and his bully takes orders from his dad at the end of the film. The layout of the story is well done. If they moved one of the pieces of the story around or took one of them out, the story would completely change. They went from the current time period, which is from 1985, and went backwards to 1955. Most films are set in the same time period or are set in the future. You usually don't go back and forth. This was an interesting way to write a story. The film is really about Marty having to save himself because of the way the story was written, and since it is written that way, he must save himself, otherwise
erase from existence.
The story also focuses on Doc as well. Doc's storyline is hidden in Marty's storyline, as Marty's is more important, but Marty also needs Doc as well, so their stories bind with each other. The plot could be about anything, but a movie is not complete without a story, as the story drives the plot. One scene that has good cinematography is the scene where Marty is getting ready to travel back to 1985 when the lightning will strike the car. This scene has a rack focus from the clock in the car to Marty. This scene also has close-ups of what the action is going on and for the reactions as well. The close-up shows Marty's reactions and the cord caught on Doc's foot when he's on top of the clock tower. Another scene that has good techniques is the scene where Marty wakes up from coming back to 1985. When he wakes up and walks into the living room, he is shocked because it looks completely different than when he left it. The lighting from the bedroom is more lit and brighter. You can see more details in the room than before. When they show the living room at the beginning of the film, it is more darker and has more contrast lighting compared to the scene of the same room at the end. The scene where there is a long take in the movie is when the DeLorean time travels and Doc and Marty react to it. This take is about a minute long, and in this scene, Marty cannot believe what he just saw, and Doc is very happy that his invention worked. The props for this scene, Marty's video camera and the car, and the remote control for the car work because Marty mentioned to Doc why he made it out of a DeLorean, which was out of business, and adding remote control made his invention cooler, and he needed something to capture, and that is why Marty had his camcorder. All of this worked because of the time period that this movie was set in, which is 1985, and these things, the car, and the camcorder, existed in the real 1985.
Get him into the future!
Back to the Future clearly has an explicit story and plot. When Marty accidentally gets hit with the car instead of his father, his mother starts to fall in love with him with her future son, and if he doesn't get them together, he will no longer exist. They cannot get any more clearer than that. Using editing and how the actors spoke helped make the film be more explicit. The editing goes from one scene to another without any jump cuts. It all flows together as the next scene is what they were talking about in the previous scene or action. Speaking helped it sounded well because it sounded like it was the real thing and it was not fake, like a script or anything. It seemed like it happened to someone in real life, and the reason this was because they hired good actors and also because of the writer who wrote the script. Without good actors, the words do not sound believable, and this actually happened in the film when they fired the actor who played Marty, and he was replaced by Michael J. Fox. Back to the Future is a film that is enjoyed by millions, and I am one of those people who like it, and has lots of things for film students and people to uncover and discuss.